Hey everyone, today I'm doing a video that I'm doing sooner than I expected, which is exciting news for me. You'll see why later in the video. I'm going to share my favorite American Girl doll of each American Girl mold to date. And there are 13, which means I've got quite a few to get through. And if you're wondering why Truly Me 4 is already here, it's because she's obviously going to be my favorite of the sculpt, so there's no surprise, no reason to reveal her later. And I also wanted to share her. Well, her outfit's new because I just changed her recently, and I don't think I can keep it in her for very long. Keep it on her for very long because of all the black. I'm nervous about staining. So since this is already going to be a long video, well, I guess I can give you a quick look at her in her rural roots dress outfit by Maple Lee before I get on to the dolls. And I'm going to do them in sort of reverse order. It's going to be my least favorite mold to my favorite mold out of the 13 molds. But that doesn't mean that my least favorite I don't like them. It just means that I might have one small tiny criticism for each of them until I get to the ones where it's going to be like splitting doll hairs. And the first doll, who may be surprised, is Nenea. And to be clear, the sculpt is cute. I just think the only that tiny nitpick I mentioned earlier that I would have is that so far there hasn't been a Nenea doll in the color combinations they've done who's really spoken to me. So that's why she's the last on the list, because there haven't been very many. And I'm planning to customize Truly Me 120 of her sculpt, or of her mold. And that's another thing I should have warned. I might say sculpt because that's what a lot of other doll communities call the different faces. Mold, say mold. So because I haven't had, I think the TM 120 with the base there, I just might want to, do an eye swap and a wig swap. But for the sake of the video, I'm not including any customs anyway. So she still, with all the dolls that have been released, would be my favorite of this mold. And as you can see, she's not Nenea in my collection. She's part of my Mary Ellen collection. And I haven't introduced Mary Ellen and Friends yet. So I don't want to spend too much time on that because there'll be another video with her where I'll explain it more. But yeah, suffice to say, she flashes forward to the future by about 10 years. And coincidentally enough, the next doll, going in order of my least favorite to favorite. So number 2 is Sharice. And I took notes. She's Truly Me 21 with the pin girls. And she's another doll. Oh, I should say she's the classic mold. And I have such a hard time with the classic mold because it's changed so much over the years. And I prefer the older mold, or maybe it's the somewhere in between. If you look at her close up, I hope you can see that her eyes aren't as, oh, there goes her 7-Up. As her, she has the eyes that aren't as open. They're not as round. They're a little bit more, to me, they look cuter. They're a little bit sleepier. And they don't look as, I don't want to say alien because that sounds negative. And I do like the dolls of the bigger eye sculpt mold, but it's just whenever there's the dolls who have that more a shape that's a little bit more, a little bit squintier, I guess you could say, then it just appeals to me more. And this is actually the sculpt that I would have thought would have been my least favorite, even though I like it. But there are at least quite a few dolls that I have now, and they all speak to me in one way or another. And I have her seated. As you can see, she's in my Mary Ellen collection too, and I have her constantly seated. So I don't know how well she's going to stand. If I have to take her off screen, take her in while you can. And the next doll, I'll have to explain why she's on the nitpick side too, is a doll I've named Cara. So as you can see, she's the Josefina mold, and I have 2 nitpicks about this particular mold, although I do obviously see that it's a very pretty mold and pretty sculpt, and I think she's popular, and that is part of the problem, is that she's so popular. So they've really been like saturating the market with Josefina molds over the last couple of years. So I have way more than what I've expected, and I have bad luck with her sculpt. So oftentimes she'll have, I think it's her right eye goes off to one side, and she's always got like, just, that's a big thing for I think a lot of collectors, and I'm myself included, is I want dolls that are looking in a certain way. And I think that's why this Truly Me 125, who's part of the most recent wave of Truly Me dolls, the reason she's my favorite Josefina is because she has the best eyes out of all the Josefina dolls I have. And then there may be a little bit of bias because I made her Canadian in my collection. She's wearing a Maple Leaf outfit. It's a mix and match, so I'm not going to say everything that's in there. But it's like the Canada Day celebration, and so it's just a random pieces I put together to make her look extra Canadian. And then she's wearing, these are actual American Girl shoes because Maple Leaf shoes do not tend to fit. So I do actually love a lot of Josefina mold dolls. It's just that I love them in spite of their constant flaw. But she turned out, I got a really good one with her. And I can't get them in stores, so it's like fingers are always crossed every time I order a doll. And so those are the only 3 molds that I have a sort of nitpick with. The rest are all just, I love them all so much. And it was just like, you know, constantly playing with them to figure out, oh, no, I like that mold a little bit more. I like that mold a little bit more because they're all great from here on. They're great too. I don't mean to sound negative. So my next doll is Govey, the Marie Grace sculpt. And I don't have the original of this sculpt, of this mold, sorry. And she was the first I got of the Marie Grace mold. I think I only have one other that I can think of off the top of my head. So yeah, it's not a very popular sculpt for me anyway. And she is not just my favorite of this mold, she's my favorite girl of the year. I just have like a penchant toward dolls with dark hair and dark eyes. And I often wonder if it's because when I was a kid, I had blonde hair and blue eyes, and I just, don't want to look at a doll and see myself, even though I know that's not the usual experience. And so when she came out, this is before I took the deep dive, and she was like my first temptation. I was like, oh no, I feel this happening. I'm going to start collecting these dolls. So I really like Cubby. And the next, oops, it's going to get chaotic. I already know that. I'm prepared. So I might start taking dolls out. So the next doll on my list of favorites is McKenna, which is, obviously she's the McKenna sculpt. And to be honest, there's only one other doll, Truly Me, who looks very similar. Instead of having twists, she has curls. And funnily enough, it was the Truly Me doll that I had first. I probably would have been satisfied with just her if American Girl didn't end up putting McKenna or the World by Us dolls on sale last year, like pretty late last year, like fall, close to the holidays. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to get her because there are enough differences. Every collector says that there aren't enough differences. We just want more dolls. But I convinced myself that, with her twist hair and she has a little bit of a deeper skin tone, like these are little minute differences and changes that I'm like, oh, I need her. She's different. But I don't love shoes that are just completely molded. So I put her in these new patent leather shoes with the chains that came out recently. And now I love her even more. And she's somebody I haven't introduced on any of my videos yet too. And I think I might have to do a random video of all the dolls that are kind of left over after the different collections that I have. So that's all I have to say about the McKenna mold. And it's very cute. So I don't want it to sound like, it's like, what number do I have her at? 5, which means she's my 5th least favorite, but that's just the way it's being worded. And my next favorite is also of her own namesake. It's Karin. So other similarities is she only has one other Truly Me doll, and she does not look very different from this doll. She's just got a little bit of a different skin tone. She doesn't have the colorful blue in the back of her hair. And even though they're so similar, there is something about, maybe it's because Karin has a collection, but that's why I like her more. But to be honest, it's surprising that she's number 6 because I love this sculpt. I love the big doe eyes. And I think it's a very versatile sculpt too. When she was on Good Morning, when she was introduced on Good Morning America, they said the character is half Chinese and half American. So maybe that's part of the versatility of her sculpt, is she's biracial by design. But I have the Truly Me in my collection as Jasmine, which is a long story that I've actually told in other videos. So that's my only experience with this mold. And so I have her in her ski uniform, but I took off the skis and the poles because it's gonna be a mess already. So I was trying to like create some real estate. Let's see if I can fit her over here. I'm on a mission. I've told myself I'm gonna fit every doll on screen so that you can kind of see them all at once. And now this next doll is the reason I'm able to do this video. I'm gonna say it last, even though I'm doing it sooner than I was expecting. And so the next doll is Ivy. I recently, in my last video I uploaded, I did an unboxing of her, and this is the Jess mold. It's an altered, so it's the older mold, and they altered the eye sockets. I don't know if that means they made them a bit bigger. The minute details are hard for me to pick out. And in my unboxing of this doll, I was confused about a couple things with her. For one thing, she's got these plastic rings around the holes of her ears, and people in the comments were kind enough to let me know that when she and Marie Grace came, the gold studs that she and Marie Grace came with were staining the doll's ears. So that was the solution for any of the newer dolls, was to put that plastic ring to keep them from, I don't know if they were turning green maybe, like Mattel does to a lot of dolls' ears. You know, Barbies back in the old days and all that stuff. So that was one thing. And another thing is, when I opened her accessories, I'm so dumb. I'm so ignorant, is I thought that this was a button of some kind. I think as I was, flustered, I was like excited and opening it, but it's a Chinese coin. So I should apologize for calling it a button, even though everybody the people who let me know, they were nice. I don't think they took it anyway. And the final tip I got from people in the, like, letting me know in the comments after I opened her, is that these pants tend to stain her body. So I put a pair of white tights on her underneath, which it actually makes them look a little bit like she fills them out a little bit better. And when I got her, she was a doll. I bought it from somebody secondhand who had sent her to the doll hospital. She was in like fresh out of the hospital condition, so I wouldn't want to have to send her back over stained limbs. And the other thing I didn't mention, and I wanted to when I was unboxing, is people don't. I don't know if it's common knowledge that only she and two other dolls have this eye color. It's the decal dark brown eyes that Samantha had first, and then she had, and now Clotty has. And I don't even think they're in the CYO shop, so I think the only way to get them is her, Samantha, and Clotty. I'm trying to act like I have knowledge. The things that people share with me. Oh, okay. And the next doll on my favorite of that mold, of her mold, is Elsie. And so I'll put her closer up so that you can see it is truly me. Where are you, Elsie? Truly me 58. It's like 4 numbers I had to remember and I couldn't. And because I'm not including customs or CYOs or anything on this list, I just want to include dolls that anybody would really have access to. I probably would have put a CYO of the Addie sculpt now, because I have, I have one in my possession and one on the way for my birthday. So, but out of all the dolls that exist, this is the one that might change, because I see myself getting more Addie dolls in the future. And when you get one doll and they you get used to them and they lose their newness. So then you go, oh, look how cute this one looks now. So it's like, I see myself finding more and more Addie mold favorites all the time. But currently, she's my favorite. And I put her in a new outfit because I've shown her recently in sort of a mix-up of Samantha's outfit and accessories, her Christmas outfit. So I put her in this outfit, and now she feels like a new doll to me again. And I think what anybody would love about this doll is her Shirley Temple style wig. And I originally had her displayed in my only diorama that's not characters. They're just dolls that are actually dolls. But now that I put this outfit on her, I'm going to put her in Angelo's Bakery with Clotty and Tiana. So that means I've cleared space where she was for another doll who's on the way. And I don't think she would replace the doll she's the mold of. I don't think she would replace the one for this video anyway, but she's a very, very special doll, and I can't wait to have her. And she's another one I thought I wouldn't have so soon, but I'm getting more extreme all the time. And that brings me to the next doll, who is So she's my favorite of this sculpt, and she's actually my favorite doll. She has trumped my previous favorite, and this is Dipa. And I know I said I'm not including customs, but redressing and renaming doesn't count. Or am I just saying that so that I can put her in another video? This was limited edition Jasmine. And there is something, I guess it's because, you know, she was a limited edition, so they put more effort into her, but there's something so pretty about her face. And, you know, she's got just a little bit of different colored lips. Her eyebrows are unique. She's got, I don't know, just a little bit of touch of, I think it's gold that's around her eyes. I see the back of her head now, so I don't know what her eyes look like, but um, she just seems like expensive, even though these dolls are all expensive, but she seems like really luxe. And I put her in, as you can see, and if you've seen any of the videos where I've shown her, I put her in the Diwali outfit. You might recognize it anyway. And so I think that's all I have to say about her this time, because I talk about her a lot, which now I need to find a spot. Okay, let me start moving some things over. Can you still see Nemea? Barely. I'm gonna do it. I want you to see them all when the video's over. So my next favorite sculpt is her namesake, and it's Kaya. It's, you know, for the longest time until they started making boy dolls, she was the only doll with the closed, oop, Elsie almost took a dip. She was the only doll with the open or closed mouth. And so I think I took the first liking to her before I collected. I didn't really understand what the difference was I was seeing, because I didn't know how to detect all the different faces yet. And I usually have her, or up until I was getting ready for this video, I have her displayed in her Powwow 3 outfit. It's mostly like an off-white, like a cream color eggshell with blue on it. But I wanted to show her differently now, because I've already shown her in that. And as soon as I got her, I put her in that outfit. So this is going to be me just kind of, this is new to me now, because I haven't shown her in it. And she's got her doll right here. Did you see her? Was she camouflaged? Right here. Where's my hand? There we go. And then her trade basket. And she's another one. If I was including customs or CYOs, I would definitely go with my CYO. He's a doll that I put in Julie's collection. And I know there's some controversy about her sculpt being the only one that's like made into a boy. But I think it doesn't bother me just because they're kids, and I don't, you know, unless you're going by their hair and their clothes, kids all just look like kids. So maybe that's a rude opinion that I have. Okay. But they're just dolls for me. All right, who's left? Okay, so now if I was going in order, this would have been my next favorite doll, Choi Hung, my Truly Me 4, but I've already talked about her, so I can move on to my second favorite sculpt, mold, so the second last doll. And that doll would be Marita. Back to what I was saying earlier about not liking the classic sculpt and not being able to tell their faces apart when I first started collecting. When I was on the American Girl website a lot, shopping and for Courtney's collection, this doll, they were featuring World by Us. So her face would pop up every time I was on there. I was like, what is it about this doll that she looks so much prettier than the others? I don't understand. I didn't realize that she was a different sculpt, because she looks pretty similar to the classic mold. Yeah, just, I don't know what the differences are. I think it's the same. It's not as sharp, maybe, not as angular, or maybe she looks a little bit like the older classic mold. So that's what's nice about her. But she's another doll. She and McKenna I haven't shown in any video aside from my doll room tour. And the thing about Marita is Marita, I didn't love her meat outfit. So when somebody was selling her after American Girl put World by Us on sale, pretty much clearance prices, Marita sold pretty much right away. And then after that, her prices shot up. And then somebody was selling her on a Canadian Facebook group, doll group, with no clothes. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Not only was she selling her for a steal of a price, I, could then justify buying her to put in another outfit. And this is my favorite Sage outfit. So I was just like, this is perfect. For me, it suits what Marita's character is in my head. So it was the perfect solution for having missed out on the sale. And before, well, you should know who's left. Even if you've seen any of my videos, you should know who's left. But before, my favorite sculpt was just a doll, just like, you know, Truly Me 4 is not really a sculpt. She's just one doll. So this was my favorite sculpt or mold before my favorite doll, now favorite doll mold, became more than one doll. So that brings me to the final doll. Oh, is she gonna fit? And then can you even see her? Okay, so my favorite, obviously, my favorite mold is Clotty. And it was really hard to pick a favorite because I said no customs. And if I could choose a custom, it would have been my Tiana custom, which I did like a swap, eye and wig swap between the Clotty doll and the Tiana wig and eyes. But I have another full video about that, so I don't need to go too deep into it. So it was a question of which Clotty, because I do like Clotty better than Tiana as American Girl dolls. Obviously, like, Tiana is my #1 collection out of everything else. So I had to choose, it was about choosing which was my favorite Clotty outfit, basically, because I have one Clotty for every outfit that's been released so far. And this, to me, is the most adorable outfit she's got, and it might be because of how I have her displayed. She's in such a cute setup, and she's just perfect. And she was the, you know, I convinced myself to buy another doll to put her in this outfit, and then it was over. It just kept getting Clotty after Clotty after Clotty. And so, yeah, as I was saying, I've been hoping or looking forward to doing this video because it would mean I had Ivy in my collection, because I already had Truly Me 4, and she's like the hardest. In order to have like a complete collection as far as molds go, if you have Truly Me 4, then you probably have every mold, because she's the hardest mold to get. So now, thanks to finding Ivy, I could do this video, and I also plan to do a video that's going to be somewhat harder than this and showing all my dolls by mold. So like a video for the classic mold dolls that I have, for the, well, I won't do Clotty because it's just all Clotty. So like any doll that I have more than 5 of that mold, I'll do a video of that too. And if I can handle this, I'm getting better at bringing dolls up onto my table and showing them all at once, because I've been buried alive before and this didn't feel that bad. So this was an easy one. I hope you, I don't know, if you let me know like what your favorite dolls are or favorite molds, because I know if something sounds negative, it can sound controversial, but I really didn't mean anything negative about the first 3 molds that I showed. It's just that they were my, you know, it was easy to pick between those, that those 3 would be at the bottom of the list, because just little nitpicks about them. And other than that, obviously, I love them all. And thank you for watching. I don't think this one was too long, but even if it was, that's okay now. Okay, bye.